Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. Just a reminder that full-length meetings, special events, and every program we air here on Channel 18 can be viewed online. You can find it all in the town's video archives at town.barnstable.ma.us. Public safety in the town of Barnstable got a big boost last week as the U.S. Department of Justice named the Barnstable Police Department as a recipient of an Office of Community Policing Services, or COPS, grant. The $1.1 million grant will put 5 new officers on the streets of Barnstable and allow the department to increase police presence in the areas of town that need it most. Earlier today on Barnstable This Morning, Police Chief Paul McDonald filled us in on the true value of the grant, which goes well beyond dollars and cents. Now, I know that you have no trepidation in talking about this subject at all. You discussed it with me a little bit late last week when the news came out of the U.S. Department of Justice. The police department is getting a $1.1 million grant from the DOJ's Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, a.k.a. COPS. This is big news for you guys.
Right, this is huge. This gives us 5 new officers. They pick up all expenses for 3 complete years.
So what does that entail exactly, all expenses?
All expenses is exactly what it means. Yesterday I met with the town manager. He signed the requisition form. We're calling for a civil service list. We're going to assign the hiring process, and as soon as those officers are appointed, the funding begins, and they will pay for all training, any overtime that's incurred by those officers, and it carries their salaries for 3 complete years.
That's extremely exciting stuff. And I wonder, Chief, with 5 more officers coming on board, what kind of impact does that end up making in our community? Because, of course, you have over 100 sworn officers on the staff already. So you would think, okay, that's kind of a small number when you stack it up to the whole force, but talk to us about that.
Right, but that brings our authorized strength up to 115 sworn officers. That's the highest it's ever been in the police department. What this is going to enable us to do, for us to get this grant, we had to write up a community policing program, and we call our program data program. It's directed activity through analysis. What that is, last year we brought on board a crime analyst, and what his job is to pinpoint all the hotspots throughout the community. With these 5 additional officers, we'll now be able to direct their activities to personally and specifically take care of these problem areas, such as Main Street hyenas. And you should see a marked difference once these officers come on board.
What kind of a difference? Can you be more specific?
Well, you talk about the bicycle patrol, you talk about foot patrols, you talk about if you have a specific problem in the neighborhood where there might be drug-related activity. I know you weren't here, but years ago we had a problem on Fresh Hills, Haribar Road. Mm-hmm. And rather than just beef up the patrol of that, we took a team of officers. We actually put them on Fresh Hills, Haribar Road to resolve that problem. We did the same thing last fall on the C Street, Nautical, Seabrook Road area, where we took a team of officers and they were specifically assigned, and they could not leave that area. They had to address all of the problems, the symptomatic signs, the quality of life issues, the crime problems. We had a shooting in Nautical Way, but they didn't go down there just to address that. They addressed also the quality of life issues. And with these 5 officers, this will give us our little team, our community policing team, to go around and take care of whatever problems they might be.
So are you going to seek out 5 officers that will be assigned to that beat, sort of, or are you just going to collect 5 new officers and deploy them as you will and take folks that you already have and create a team? Right.
No, the 5 new officers will go through the academy. Once the 5 officers are cleared for solo patrol, they will go out on patrol, and then we'll put together the team. The team will come from much more seasoned officers.
Okay, and you talked a little bit about the crime analyst position, and that's something that you and I have discussed here on this program before, although it was quite some time ago.
Right.
What's going to be the relationship between that position and this new team of 5?
Well, they are going to direct the activities. Well, eventually, the crime analyst with the command staff is going to direct the activities of the entire police department. Rather than just put a cruiser out in a geographical area to drive around and randomly to patrol, we're going to direct all of his activities. When he's not answering calls for service, this is what those cruisers are going to be taken care of.
Okay.
Right now there are several cars assigned to downtown hyenas, and when those cars are not answering calls for service, they are to be on Main Street hyenas, taking care of the whole host of problems that are down there right now.
I know that is going to answer the prayers of a lot of people, a lot of business advocates and business owners and residents and visitors as well. And actually, you told me directly last week that this was an answer to your prayers.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely. We want to bring a substation back down to Main Street hyenas. We want to beef up the patrols on Main Street hyenas. We want to beef up the bicycle patrols, the foot patrols. We have an obligation to ensure public safety. we're going to take care of that.
Now, yeah, that's one of the really interesting things that you had told me as well, is that this would give you the opportunity to staff, without compromising the rest of your force and where they need to be, a substation on Main Street in Hyannis.
Right. Exactly.
So I figure that it would be a good time to ask you if any progress has been made in identifying a location.
We've identified 3 or 4 different locations. It's it's not really a problem finding a location. It's trying to find a funding source.
Okay, and that is yet to be determined, I would imagine.
We have some couple of ideas. I think we're going to be able to do it, but I don't really need a substation right now as winter approaches.
Right.
I'm looking to have something, ready to go, up and running by April or May 1st at the very latest.
You think that's possible?
Yes, I do think it's possible.
Excellent. Well, that's great news, too.
We're going to get it done. We have to get it done.
I believe you. You're an honest man, and you haven't led me astray yet so far, Chief. No. Now, I want to know a little bit about this grant and the application process, because I know that it was extremely competitive.
It was extremely competitive. It went right across the country. 4,590 departments put in for it. 379 departments were awarded the grant, and it was all based in community policing, and it was based on your specific plan, how you're going to use the money, and it was a long, elaborate process. And we've been working on this data program for a couple of years now, and it's really starting to come to fruition now, and it has great promise. And obviously, the cops people liked it.
Yeah, certainly that has to be the case. And I was going to ask you next, and I think you kind of answered it there. Or do you have any inclination as to why you were selected out of the thousands of departments that did apply?
Well, what they do, when you put these grants in, they actually grade the grant. I mean, they actually put a numerical number attached to the grant. And out of all the municipalities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, we were rated number 3. Of everybody else. I don't exactly know where we were rated out of 379, but we did get the most money from all the departments in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So, I mean, they like the program. It certainly has merit. It certainly makes sense, and we certainly will be able to do it once we have these additional officers.
So now, Chief, you said that it hires 5 new officers for 3 years. What happens after that?
At the end of the 3 years, there is a guarantee. We have to guarantee the COPS office that we will keep those officers for a minimum of 4 years. But we, like everybody else, we're hoping we'll be through this, this economic decline, and the town will be able to keep them on permanently.
And I have gotten indications, though casually only, that that really shouldn't be a problem, either through attrition in the police force, retirement, whatever have you.
Right, exactly. And I know the town manager, supports the police department 110%. But this grant still has to be accepted Thursday night by the town council.
Right, and I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's not going to be a huge problem for you guys.
I'm not anticipating a problem.
Yeah. Well, I will say a big congratulations to you and everyone at the Barnstable Police Department. Who does thanks go to, Chief?
Most of thanks goes to the deputy chiefs and Ann Spillane, and the unions helped. It was an effort by everybody here in the police department. But the author of the grant was Ann Spillane, and she was going to introduce the grant on Thursday night.
The Barnstable Police Department was one of only 5 departments in Massachusetts to receive a COPS grant this year, along with departments in Abington, Methuen, Oak Bluffs, and Saugus. Now, let's take a look at this week's remaining meetings. At 6:30 p.m., the Conservation Commission meets in the Town Hall hearing room. Wednesday, October 6th, the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission meets in the Selectmen's Conference Room at 7 p.m. And on Thursday, October 7th, the Town Council meets at 7 o'clock in the Town Hall hearing room. Well, that's all for now. Just one programming note before we go today. Beginning next Tuesday, the day after the Columbus Day holiday, we'll be showing you our 4-part interview with Siobhan Magnus that we conducted earlier this week. Make sure that you tune in for that. I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.